We're going to talk today about the care and feeding of African violets. I've been a member of Tulsa Garden Club since 2007 and am a past president. I've enjoyed working with our talented and skilled members and learning more about our world's horticulture. I have also been a member of the African Violet Society of Greater Tulsa and the Tulsa Rose Society and served as president and in other capacities. I am a master judge in the African Violet Society of America and have enjoyed many lovely violet shows across the country since the 1990s. I'm pleased today to share my knowledge of African violets and hope this inspires you to add these beautiful plants to your world. Their botanical name, by the way, is Saintpaulia ionantha. African violets really did come from Africa in the Usambara Mountains and were discovered there in the 1890s. They were brought back to Germany and eventually found their way to England and eventually imported to the United States in the 1920s. They became extremely popular in the Roaring Twenties as houseplants, and that is why they still abound with us today. There are thousands of varieties existing today in a wide range of colors and sizes. I brought some examples to show you. There are 3 general sizes of single crown violets. The one you're most familiar with is probably the standard violet, which grows to, a size of 20 to 24 inches in diameter, depending on how you grow them. And they are, I'll tilt this, they grow in a wheel shape with blossoms all around the plant for their best showing. Next in size is the semi-miniature violet, which is one of these, and they grow to a diameter of 8 inches. The one further down from that then is the miniature, the true miniature violet, which grows to a diameter of 6 inches, and these stay these sizes through their lifetime. I've also brought today a little plant. It's a starter plant, but it's a species plant. In other words, this is the way that they grew in the wild in Africa, with the little blossoms that have 2 tiny petals at the top and 3 larger ones on the bottom. And they don't grow in a wheel shape, they're bushier. And so from plants like these came all of our hybrids today. Now, bloom colors go from white to pinks to reds to blues and purples and all shades in between. There are also many plants with bicolor flowers and other splashy color combinations. There are also different foliages, such as the green that you see on this plant and the variegated ones. I have brought one without blooms today so that you can see the type of variegation that's possible. This one over here is also variegated in a different way. This variegation was found as a mutation about 50 years ago, and the hybridizers got together and crossed and recrossed varieties to make lots and lots of different choices in today's plants. So you will find variegation in all sizes of these plants. You will also find violets in some nursery centers, big box stores, and supermarkets that have floral departments. Your best choice in choosing a plant will come, as it does in all plants, with a healthy specimen. The center of the plant should be green and growing, without blemishes or sign of pest infestation. Some damage occurs in shipping to outer leaves, but these can be removed later as the plant grows without harming the plant. If pollen, however, is seen scattered on the blooms or leaves, this is usually a sign of thrips infestation and should be avoided, as they can spread to other plants in your home. They love to feed on blooms. Also, the shipping soil in the plants arrive in should be changed to a better growing mix when you get your plant home. Violets do well in a soilless mix of peat moss, vermiculite, and perlite, and that creates a loose, porous mix such as this one in the bag. The white specks here are perlite and help keep the soil loose and open so that the roots can easily grow. This kind of mix can be obtained in some nurseries and from local clubs that sell this at their local sales. Violets should be repotted 1 to 2 times a year if possible to encourage their growth and their bloom cycles. Plastic and ceramic pots work the best and are easiest to clean. The miniature plants use 2¼ to 2½ inch pots, and they stay in this through their life cycle, while the larger plants, like this one, grow in 4 to 5 inch pots, like this, depending on their size, and avoiding over-potting, as the plants do not perform well when those pots are too large. Violets love the same living conditions that we humans do. Thank goodness, that's why they remain popular today. These include temperatures in the 70 to 75 range, humidity around 50%, and good air circulation, a good formula for us all. Violets require plenty of bright light, either natural or fluorescent. If you grow them near windows naturally, then place them out of the direct sun to avoid burning the leaves, and turn them 1/4 turn each week to grow uniformly. If artificial lights are used, the plants require 10 to 12 hours of light daily. There are many, many ways to water your violets. From the top, under the leaves, the bottom in a saucer that holds water, and wicking and self-watering pots. Now, this is a reservoir. Plastic tub is all it is, with 2 holes in it, one for the wick and one to water. Put your water in it. And they use this by stringing wick from inside the pot to a hole in the bottom, and then a hole into the wicking container to drink their water. And this is a very efficient way of watering your plant, more consistent than a lot of ways. If you're watering from the top or bottom, touching the soil is a good way to figure out if your plant is too dry. It's a good way to determine when to water. Don't let plants sit in a water saucer more than 10 minutes. Overwatering is the most common mistake in taking care of violets. Now, a regular application of fertilizer helps African violets develop strength and produces plenty of blooms. There are several fertilizers on the market that can be found in plant nurseries and big box stores, and they're expressly made for violets, which is a good thing. Just be sure to follow directions for feeding and don't overdo it. More is not better here. One other type of fertilizer that works well is the granular kind marketed for orchids. The strength of this fertilizer is usable for violets and should be used in dosages of 1/4 teaspoon per gallon of water. These types of fertilizers can also benefit your other houseplants. And this weaker fertilizer solution can be given every time you water, and it should not burn the foliage for you. Now, with all this care, your violets will be happy and bloom well. Keep them in rooms to enjoy where you go, so that you can keep an eye on them for their needs and remove spent blossoms and foliage whenever necessary. I encourage you to visit flower shows and sales of all kinds to find flowers you enjoy. For further information on violets, I recommend that you look at the website for the African Violet Society of America, where you will find organizational information, locations of clubs, lots of beautiful pictures of violets, and growing tips too. With that, I'll say thank you for joining me today. Good luck and happy growing.